Hey everybody, it's time for another Tony's Tippets, and today I'm going to show you how to clean the Philips 4300 LatteGo. Now, I will go through the whole process, and I do recommend that on a weekly basis you at least clean the brew group and also the drip tray, at least from a weekly perspective. And then on a monthly basis, I would do a deep cleaning and do the brew group and the whole machine. What I'm going to show you today is the whole cleaning process, including lubricating the O-rings. You can mix and match what you want to do from a maintenance perspective. But again, weekly, at least the brew group, and then on a monthly basis, I would lubricate the O-rings. Let's get started. First of all, brew your cup of coffee in the morning. This whole process probably, if you get into the groove, will only take you about 15 minutes. But I always like to start out by brewing my cup of coffee. And once that's done, again, I use this little cup here to hold the discharge from the nozzles. So make sure that your machine and your unit is turned off. It's going to rinse the nozzles and put the water into the dirty water, discarded water into the into the cup here. I'm going to go ahead and remove these espresso cups off the top. And what we're going to do is remove the cup here that I have for the discharge. Place it on the side. I'm going to move this so that I can access the panel. And then I'm going to open this so that I can remove the brew group. I'll come in for a closer shot here shortly. So you kind of want it in this particular configuration right now so that it's easy access to the brew group. Let me show you what you're going to need in order to clean the machine. Here are the items that you need in order to clean the LatteGo 4300. One, you're going to need a microfiber cloth. Two, you're going to need a roll of paper towels right there. You're going to also need a bottle brush. You're going to need a drying rack of some sort. And this is optional, but depending on where your LatteGo is sitting, you might need a work light to see inside of the LatteGo. And I'll show you how each of these components will be used. So here we are with the on the side view, and I'm going to show you how to remove the brew group. As you can see, the lighting here is sort of dark. So this is where I would put in my trusty, I'll move this back a little bit, light. Now you can easily see with the brew group and its internal components. Leave this tray in. It's important because when you remove the brew group, some drippings will come out. So this is usually one of the last things that I remove. And all you have to do is push here on the brew group and lift out. Hold the top here, push, and remove. And here is the brew group. We're going to go to the sink and rinse this out. Alright, we're at the sink now, and we have our brew group here. As you can see, there's a lot of coffee grinds, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff here. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the water. Cold water is fine. Warm water is better. Don't get too hot. And what we're going to do here is just make sure that we clean all those coffee grinds out. Now, if you have one of these fancy kitchen that has a spray, it's even better to go in and then just kind of give it a quick and thorough rinse. What you're really trying to do here is dislodge any coffee grinds that are in the system itself. So what I'll do here is I'll do a complete view and take a look to see if there's anything. I'll spin this O-ring just to make sure it's clean. And then what you can do is even this bar, okay, if this bar and this lever is popped out, push that in and it will release this yellow bar here. And what I'll do is when you push this down, it will move this up into the top brew group. So if you can see that, and now I'm locking it into place. This allows me to clean other areas of the brew group that isn't exposed in the other configuration. So I'll just clean here. I'll make sure that's clean. I'll make sure this bar is clean. And what you want to do is to reset it, you push this bar down, and then you just push this all the way forward. And you can push it all the way forward until this bottom pin clicks. You see? It clicks right there. Now your brew group is rinsed. I'll just give it another rinse. I see a little bit of coffee grinds right there. So I'll just water jet that out. Take a quick look here. Look inside. Look on the side. Okay, this looks pretty good. What I'll do now is now that this is locked, if you see this, I can pretty much shake it. It's pretty much locked in there. And what I'm trying to do here is just get some of the water off of the brew group. That way it's easier to dry. And then I'll place it over here, just on the rack. You can see there, just on the rack there. And then we'll clean the inside of the LatteGo. We're at the sink again, and we're going to use these paper towels. So what you want to do is get one set of paper towels and another set. And what we're going to do is fold this one, and we're going to sort of dampen it. Okay, so that's number one. We're going to dampen this one. And then the second one, we're going to do the same thing. And this one, we're not going to crinkle up a little bit. We're going to fold it. Okay, so wring it out. And we're going to basically fold this half, maybe half again, and then half like this. And I'll show you what these two are going to be used for. So we're at the side of the surface panel, and I have both of my wet paper towels here. Now, what I'm going to do is put one paper towel right here and into the actual machine, and this will help keep it clean. It's wet because what I'm going to try to do is clean the grind out of the hopper, and when it's dry, the coffee grinds will fall because it won't catch. Now that it's wet, it will fall and stick to the paper towel. And so with this one, I'll twist it a little bit, and I'll open the pre-ground compartment, and I'll just push this through, and you can already see that some of the grinds have already been removed. And I'll just go up and down and make sure that all those coffee grinds are out. Now, kind of do this a few times. What I like to do is take this and go to the sink and rinse it. So I'm over at the sink and I'm rinsing this particular paper towel. And then I'll go through it another pass. And just to make sure, I'll move it back and forth and make sure that you can see that it's gone through. No more grinds are coming out. I'll take this and I'll put this in the trash. And that's an easy way for you to clean the hopper and pre-ground compartment without putting all of that into the system itself. And then we'll start to clean inside. So let me throw this away and I'll be back. So now we're going to take our microfiber cloth and we are going to just brush out any pre-ground coffee or ground coffee, and we're going to make sure that the inside is pretty clean. We want to make sure that the upper part here doesn't have any coffee. We want to do the front, and then of course this is still in for now. We're going to remove that and clean that in a second, and then make sure that these areas are clean. Looking good so far. As long as you're doing this every week or every month, it shouldn't be too much of a struggle to get this clean. I'll clean this track here where the water reservoir goes to make sure that there's no coffee grinds. There we go. If you want to take compressed air, you could do that to remove it, but I don't necessarily need to do that. I don't have a lot in here right now. And so I would say that that's pretty clean. Yeah. And then there's a little bar down here, so I'll clean that off real quick. So far so good. Looking good. So the inside is now clean. I'll move over and we'll clean the drip tray now. So removing the drip tray is pretty easy. All you need to do is to remove that. Just pull, and then I'll pull that straight back. Now what I'll do is I'll put my microfiber cloth right there, because sometimes the water will still drip out of the spout. And then we'll take the drip tray over to the sink to wash. Alright, our drip tray is in the sink. What I'll do here is I'll remove this. I have coffee grinds in here, and I'll just dump this in the trash. You can see that it's empty now. So I'll go about and I'll take this panel off. I'll take this panel off. Okay. And then I'll also squeeze the back of this to remove the water level indicator. So put that there. And what I like to do is to wash these first. So I'll take my bottle brush here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll fill this and I'll wash this. And this will become our reservoir that will have all of the I mean, it's only containing grind, so even a rinse would be okay. So I like to put a couple squeezes of detergent. I'll emulsify it a little bit to get some bubbles. My wife likes to call me Mr. Bubbles because I have a lot of bubbles everywhere in the sink. So I'll clean the inside here. I'll clean this outside of this container as well. And then I'll dip this and I'll use it to start cleaning these other components. So here, I try to be very mindful of this because it's actually showing. This is the external part of the drip tray. So I'll leave that there. This is also showing, so I'll clean this. And what we'll do is we'll rinse it and dry it immediately so it doesn't develop spots. And then the water level indicator. See those bubbles. All right, so here we go. We'll leave that there. And then what I'll do is I'm gonna get a drying rag, and then I'll put this here. I'll dry this. This one is not bad, so we'll just put this into the drying rack. We'll rinse this. Make sure all the water is off. We'll put this to the side here for now. And then rinse this. All right. Now that those three pieces are completed, I'll go ahead and I'll just dry these. And the reason why is because I don't want any spots to show. Now there's already some spots, but it's okay. I'll just cursory just dry that, put on the side. I'll dry this one. Just these ones I'll dry, and I'll put it here. Now I'm going back to the tray. So I like to definitely keep the tray very clean, because it has some of the coffee has oils, and those oils actually will have like a residue on the tray. So what I'll do here as I adjust my camera is I'll dump this out and I'll turn this on, and what I'll do is I'll spray and loosen all of the different coffee grinds. Again, I'm doing this very slowly so I can help instruct how to do this. Normally I'm working and doing this very quickly. So like I said, it only takes me about 15 minutes to complete. So now that I got all the coffee grinds sort of loosened, I'll take my trusty wand and I'll just clean the drip tray. Pretty easy. These nooks and crannies are a little bit harder, so I'll spin it. And there you go. So I'm cleaning it. I'll clean the outside too. There you go. That's clean now. And then this is already clean. And what I'll also do is clean the LatteGo container. I've already have something in here. I'll just dump it out. Just rinse it real quick. I'll dump this in here. And I use my brush and lightly sort of spin it and go up and down. You don't want it to be too vigorous because it'll damage the finish of the container. I'll clean the outside. I'll disassemble it and let some of that water drip out, and then maybe drip in here, right? And then I'll take the brush and then just clean the inside. So now that's clean. Clean the lid, make sure this is all cleaned as well. All right, and I'll clean this because this channel is where that steam comes out. And then you also want to clean this little hole there because that's where it spins to come out of the spout. And then, as you remember, I also have my drip cup. So at this time, I'll also use this and clean this. Everything is now sort of clean. You can see a lot of bubbles are in the making. I'll make sure to clean that up, otherwise I'll be called Mr. Bubbles again. So I'll rinse this real quick, and then I'm gonna shift my camera over here so you can sort of see also the drip tray, or the drying rack, sorry, the drying rack. And I'll rinse this and put it up. Easy enough as that is. Got the cup here. Rinsing the cup. Rinsing the LatteGo outer compartment. This. I'll do the tray here. Make sure that this is fully alright. I'll place that right there. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like afterwards. And then the last part is the actual coffee pot holder, if you will. That's done. Place it here, shut off the water, and I'll move this over so you can see what that looks like. So this is sort of, you got your brew group, this, you got your LatteGo, you can flip these to let it dry. So everything's there. So now we're gonna go and finish up the LatteGo coffee maker by cleaning the outside. Here we are in the side view of the machine, and I take my microfiber cloth and I just moisten one corner of it. And what I'll do is I'll shut the service door, and then I'll sort of go around the machine and just sort of tidy it up a little bit, clean it so that it doesn't show any spots. There's like a lot of dust, so we'll clean that. We'll clean the top of the hopper. We'll go back on the side. I'll take this, let me move this. I'll take this side that's moistened, and let me turn on a little bit more light so you can see. And then I'll just lightly go over the screen, right? And then I'll use the dry part and dry it off immediately. That way it doesn't have water spots or anything like that, so it looks nice. Okay, we'll clean that. We'll go back to the wet part, and I'll clean this area here. I'll clean around the spout. I'll clean around the actual nozzles and spouts and all that stuff. I'll come over here and I'll clean sort of the area where the LatteGo holder is, the frother side. I want to make sure that the finish on the top doesn't have a lot of spots, so I'll wipe it, and then I'll wipe it dry immediately. I'll go into the system itself, and I'll just push this in and then sort of work my way back out. That way underneath is clean. I'll use the wet side again. I'll clean the back of the LatteGo machine and the side, just to make sure it's all clean and nice. Looking good so far. Just make sure that the screen is clean. We'll go over to this side, which is this is where the actual reservoir, water reservoir is, and I'll clean the front just to make sure it's nice and doesn't show any spots or anything. If you want, you can even, clean the side of it if you want. I mean, nobody really looks at the side, but I'll do it here. And so this is pretty much clean now at this point. We're waiting for the components to dry. So right now is a great time. Let me move this over. Right now is a great time to go ahead and add additional water to the water reservoir. So we'll do that. Filtered water. So that's full. And then also a good time, let me move this up, to move this to the side. And then what I'll do is I'll take the hopper lid off and then add additional beans to it. So I have these vacuum, I'll put a link in the description, these vacuum containers, and we'll just add additional beans to the hopper. We're just preparing the machine for service. Alright, that's all I have in this machine, in this container right now. So we'll just leave it like that. And you can see as you close it, the air comes out, keeping your beans fresh. We'll put this back on the top. And what I'll do is I'll reposition this. I moved it originally so that you can see, and I'll leave the machine with the service door open. And the reason why is because I want to make sure that everything inside the machine is dry. So let the air flow through, let the machine dry, and once all the components are done, we'll put it all back into place. So right now, everything is done. You've effectively cleaned the machine, and I will show you how to grease the O-rings once everything is dry. Inside the system, you have two different O-rings that you'll need to lubricate. I recommend using a food-safe lubricant, such as this, by McLaughlin Oil Company. I'll put a link in the description. And to apply it, I usually use some Nitrile gloves. So what I'll do here is I'll put on the glove on whatever dominant hand. And there's two inside the system and one on the brew group. And I'll do the brew group separately. What I'm going to show you here is how to get into the machine to lubricate the O-ring. So I'll just put a little dab. Let me turn on the light here so you can see it a little bit better. All right, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. You can see just pea-sized, and I'll just rub it on my fingers here. And what we'll do is we'll go inside the machine, and if you can see, here are the two O-rings, okay? And it's as simple as just spinning it with the lubricant on your glove, and just spinning it and pinching it. That way you can, and it should spin pretty easily. And I'll just go around, make sure that you're getting full coverage of the actual O-ring. So it should spin pretty easily now. There you go. And then the small one, I'll do the same thing. Just spin, pinch, until you get full coverage of that O-ring. And it should spin pretty easily. Spin, pinch, spin, and pinch. Yeah, there you go. So this will allow you to have really good frothing on your LatteGo. Now, if you have issues with steam going into the LatteGo container, then most likely one of these O-rings are broken, or you need to lubricate them. So take a look at the health of the O-ring. I do have links to the description of the size of these O-rings that I've replaced. I'll add it to this particular video as well. But yeah, these are super important, especially when you're making milk-based drinks. Here, I'm going to show you how to grease or lubricate the O-rings of the LatteGo brew group. And so we're going to go through and make sure that the unit is completely dry. This is not, but I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. And I still have my glove on that has the lubricant right here, that pea-sized lubricant. And this is the O-ring that is important. So just like inside of the LatteGo, I'll spin it. I'll spin the O-ring, and I'll pinch and lubricate the O-ring. Spin and pinch, right? And what you want to do is get full coverage of this O-ring. This is the most important one because this is what allows the brew group to latch on for the pressure of creating or brewing your espresso. So make sure that this one is pretty lubricated. All right. What I'll do here is I'll do my little trick, and I'll push this pin in, and I'll move this up, and I'll make sure that the actual top is pretty well sealed. So I'll push it again, looks sealing pretty well. I'll go ahead and move this all the way, and then I'll do it again. I'll lubricate that O-ring by spinning and pinching again. That way I make sure that that is all lubricated. So it's looking good. I got this done. Now you might be wondering, why do I have these Q-tips here? Which is another thing that you'll need. Now, I usually like to do this bare hands, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna lubricate the brew group. And by doing so, it's gonna allow us to make sure that the brew group is operating in tip-top shape. So here, with this, I'll put a little bit of, just a small piece, and make sure that this pin, right, anything that moves, you'll want to lubricate. So I'll go over here on the side, make sure that that's done. I'll go here inside, and I'll lubricate here to make sure that that's good. So I'll discard that. What you want to do is push this pin in and just move it, just to make sure that everything is getting lubricated there. And this also gives you an indication of areas that you need to lubricate. So we see here is moving. Anything that's moving, you want to lubricate. So what I'll do now is get another one. I'll get a little bit more. And there are these channels. I don't know if you can see it. There are these channels that is right here. And so you want to lubricate that. Let's see. You got the pin, you got these. Okay, so that channel's good. Once it's locked in this position, you can get the upper channels right here. These upper channels to lubricate. Okay, so I'll get another Q-tip here, or actually I'll use the other side of this one. Put a little bit more, and then I'll just lubricate this channel here, and I'll lubricate this channel here. It looks pretty well lubricated. I think I'm doing this a little early, but I'm showing you how I'm lubricating the brew group. I do this about once a month just to keep it going in tip-top shape. I'll lubricate anywhere that moves. So I'll take another one here. I'll go and lubricate the outside here. Inside. And then the last part is this bar. I'll show you here. Let me unlock it. Right here, this bar moves. So this bar right here. Everything is looking good so far. All right, so what I'll do is to verify, I'll just move it up and down and look at, feel if there's any place that's snagging, any place that may be, dry. I'll push this all the way up, make sure that that pin is moving well. Push it back in. I'll look at any other parts that's moving and make sure that it's lubricated. So far, so good. So the main ones are this pin, okay, and the channels at the top. So those are the most important places to lubricate. These channels and that pin. The rest is extra. I like to do it just to make sure that everything is working properly. But anything that, again, I'll say it again, anything that moves needs to be lubricated. And that's how you lubricate the brew group. Looking good. Now that we have everything dried, we'll put everything back together. So we'll take this bottom of the drip tray and we'll take the indicator and we'll put it into its place. We'll take this panel and we'll put that into place. We'll take this top metal part and put it into place as well. Make sure it fits. And then this guy here, which is our coffee bean discard box, and we'll leave that on the side. The LatteGo is pretty much an easy click. You hook it to the top, snap it on the bottom, and then the lid goes on top, like so. Okay, and then the brew group. And so the brew group is dried. I'll put that into the machine and we'll go over to the machine and put everything back together. So we have our drip tray here. We'll put that back in. We have our brew group, and all you have to do is slide this back in and push, and so it goes into place. We can now shut the door, and then your water reservoir can go in like so, and you're done. You can go right there, and that is the full cleaning and maintenance of the LatteGo machine. Well, now you see how to perform proper maintenance on your LatteGo 4300. What I did today was, in addition to cleaning the brew group and the drip tray, I also showed you how to lubricate the O-rings. Now, I only do that on a monthly, at a minimum quarterly basis. I do it monthly just to keep it going. But at a minimum, when you're doing the maintenance every week, please just go ahead and clean the brew group. It doesn't take too long. It typically takes me, without doing the O-rings, it typically only takes me about 15 minutes to perform maintenance on the machine. This allows it to perform well and give you that cup of joe that you bought the machine for. So again, if this has helped you in any way, give this video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to get future videos, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Again, this is Tony with Tony's Tidbits. Until next time.